tapped my pencil against my notebook and sighed. I was just as grateful as the other students for what would pretty much be a free day, of course, but with reading and doing a worksheet on the same chapters we'd gone over the last time was all that stimulating an experience. There wasn't even anyone I could share a conversation with. The professors, grumbling and scowling, kept everyone quiet, even the older panda 2 rows ahead of me, who chattered all throughout class on Monday. It was just a textbook in front of me, open to general overview of the different classes of animals and their dietary needs for me. I let my gaze wander around the classroom, taking in the posters and pictures on the walls. The other students in their desks, all arranged in neat rows and columns. The polar bear, Coach Peyton, or just Coach, as he insisted on being called, sitting hunched over at the much larger desk at the front of the classroom, watching all of us doing our work. They looked over to the door leading out of that stuffy room to a long hallway outside. Movement, black and white, familiar. Owen? I blinked, sniffed the air out of habit, but of course I could only smell the cacophony of other animals there in the room with me. Puffed out through my nose and shook my head a little. Owen should have been in class, right? And judging by the names of the ones he told me, they should have all been over in the history building. But this was all the way on the other side of the campus, over by the athletic complex. So, sorry for that. The incident. Has something happened again? I wanted to dismiss that thought out of hand. There were a million other reasons for Owen to be there instead of the history building. Maybe he had other classes, ones he hadn't bothered telling me about, in or near the athletic complex. Maybe he just happened to not have a class during that time and was taking a walk. I went an errand. Or something. My hands shot up into the air. It stayed there, lingering, trying to catch Coach's attention. I ignored both a few glances my way and the slowly growing fatigue in my sort of keeping my eyes from the polar bear. Yeah, you need something. May I go to the restroom, sir? A few more seats of eyes flipped over toward me. Coach snorted, sighed, and waved a hand in my general direction. You don't need my permission to take her. Just go and come back quick as you can. Oh, okay. That was new. But then again, I had been told things at college would be like they were at the lab complex, hadn't I? I got up from my desk, ignoring some quiet murmuring from the other students, and gave the polar bear a nod while making my way out. Out to the hallway, looking to the left, and then over to the right. I was pretty sure Owen had been heading in that direction. If something had happened, another incident or whatever, then maybe I could help him to calm down, feel better, or something. We had said we'd help each other that way, hadn't we? So I took in a deep breath and followed the very faint traces of orchid smell down the hallway. Out to the breezeway, outside looking left and right again. I spotted more black and white over by the fence surrounding the university pool. Owen? No response. He was staring straight at the water, keeping his arm close against his sides, his hands held up to his chest and bouncing in a steady rhythm. I headed over towards him, resisting the urge to keep downwind and soften my steps. Owen? Hey, Owen? The orchid just mumbled incoherently to himself and kept bouncing his hands, his breathing sharp and shallow. Slowly, I made my way closer. Closer. Reached out and gave his shoulder a tentative sock. Ah! He rolled around, eyes wide and staring. Don't do that. I'm sorry. I backed out. hands held up before me in a conciliatory gesture had to force my neck to hunch down and my shoulders to slump, even tension tightened in my jaws. Dorcas slammed his eyes shut, breathing deep. In, out. His tight clenched fist relaxed and flopped a few more times before he forced them down. Sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. He was hunching into himself again, looking away from me again, just like in the dining hall the day before. I took a deep breath of my own and spoke, keeping my voice low, even firm. Hey, stop, look at me. That same voice Dr. Tanya would use when Owen huffed, stuttered, ground his teeth, and moaned. But finally, he looked over at me. Again, I looked a few slow breaths. In, out. Something really was wrong, and the least I could do was try to make up for my clumsy first attempt at checking on him. So once I had steadied myself, I spoke up. Kind of a dumb question as soon as I heard it out loud. Of course he wasn't okay. But sometimes this answer can be what someone needs to hear. Something else Dr. Tanya told me. And I don't know if it was helping per se, but it did get his shoulders and jaw looking at a little less intense. He dropped his gaze to the ground. His lips moved silently. I couldn't tell whether he was focused on his breathing or trying to figure out what to say, but I gave him the time to do what he needed to do. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's just, you kind of worried me, man. Sorry. I started to reach over to give him a tentative pat on the shoulder. The orca leaned into my touch a bit, and it looked like his lips were trying to perk up into a smile. You want to talk or something? He shifted from foot to foot, glanced towards the gate, leading to the pool area, then looked back at me. Without saying a word, he turned to fiddle with the latch and swung it open. I looked around, quick and furtive. Even with all the security guards that were patrolling the campus, I couldn't see any nearby. I almost called out to stop Owen, just in case, but after considering it, I just followed quietly instead. Chlorine, water, big water. I took away the tension in my shoulders and jaw, then shuffled after the orca as he made his way to the side of the pool. Are you going for a swim? He kicked off his shoes, then reached down to unbutton his pants. Was he going to take them off and just go swimming naked? Connor had told me about skinny dipping back when we were both younger, but I never had the opportunity to do it, even though the concept itself had been very interesting. I cleared my throat once more, looking out for anyone else who might be nearby. Owen, I don't think we should. I mean, people might, are you gonna? I couldn't stop my eyes from darting downward as he unzipped his fly, then pushed his pants off his hips. Oh. What is it? Nothing. I swallowed down a tension in my throat, then cleared it with a sharp cough. Why are you wearing shorts under your pants? It's kinda dumb. But, looked at the pool, then back to me, and then shifted from foot to foot. It feels nice to put my legs in the water. Okay, I guess. I looked at the pool, then back to him, and to concentrate on not cleansing my jaws, I spoke. Is it uncomfortable? No, really, kind of the opposite, actually. It's really loose and loosey, actually. And because the material is softer, it feels a lot better on my skin than denim. So it actually makes it more comfortable when I wear pants. And sorry, you're good. I gave him a small, closed-lip smile. He was, I continued trying to parse the sudden gust of information. Honestly, it did kind of make sense. When I considered the feeling of my own pants against the skills of my legs, Owen peeled his socks off and then moved to the side of the pool to sit down. With a sigh of relief, he slipped his feet into the water, wiggling his toes and flexing his soles, whirling his ankles, kicking with slow and deliberate motions, not really sloshing or splashing. As a matter of fact, he seemed to be trying very hard not to get his sword wet at all. After a few moments of watching the orca, I stepped over to join him at the pool's edge, keeping my legs crossed and far away from the water. Before I could say anything, Owen spoke, so quiet the words half mumbled, but much calmer. Whenever something happens and I get upset, doing this makes me feel better. I can focus on how the water feels and not whatever's going on. I huffed. So there won't be any incidents. I see. I glanced down to Orca's legs, my eyes drawn by the slow, rhythmic motions. I wasn't trying to look at his crossed butt. After a short cough, I dragged my gaze away. And that feels good for you? Uh-huh. Cool and wet and nice and swoosy. Swoosy does sound pretty good. A small smile. A quiet laugh as I looked over to gauge his expression. He glanced over, gave me a smile, in return, then ducked his head and dropped his gaze. You want to give it a try? I glanced at the water surface. I swallowed, ignoring the tension in my throat. I don't have anything on under these. I patted the thighs of my pants. I mean, I wore underwear, but yeah. He kept staring at me until I gave him a small, shaky smile and shrugged. Maybe next time? Okay. He shrugged, too, with a quiet hum of thought. I stepped a little bit closer to Orca. I should probably head back to class, but that would put me right back in that stuffy classroom trying to focus on review work. Want to just talk some more, just for a little bit? Yes. Pink started to bloom on the white parts of his face as he ducked his head again. I mean, yes, sure. Alright, sure. Seen any good movies lately? It's my turn to duck my head, sleepless and awkward. That was unfortunately the best I could come up with. I mean, I suppose I could have asked him more about his classes, but that might bring up the topic of what had gotten him upset enough to go out and swoosh in the pool. Or maybe studying together, but I was trying to not think about classwork right now, wasn't I? And otherwise, I didn't really know much about the organ at all. I don't really pay attention to movies, like what's coming on and stuff. Oh, I scratched the scales on my nape, then on my scalp. Shit, there was that idea again. But I've been reading this book series. There we go, that was something at least. Yeah? What series? Oh, the Real Mirza Kafka series. It's fictional. It's historical fiction. Historical fiction? About the border skirmishes between apexes and secondaries in the Belaski region back in the 1800s. One of the main characters is a boy who he has to flee with the help of the local elves who are also planning a coup against the secondary government, so that starts. Then there were also the Lynx family who are going along with the person to the Mirza Kafka. So, yeah. Becky and staring, caught off guard by the sudden flood of information. I could only nod. That sound. It is. He huffed and hunted to himself. Arms crossed over his belly. His brow furrowed. His legs moved back and forth a little quicker in the sloshing water. I mean it, just, I've never read any kind of historical fiction books before. It looked like he was considering that, the tension in his shoulders easing away once more. I like it a lot. I'll bet. What kind of books do you like? Huh? Oh, I thought back to books the researchers had allowed me to read over the years, educational ones for the most part. At least I just swore that I cleared my throat, wanted to get off that topic as fast as possible. You like books? Especially books like the Melza Kazka series. I wish I could write something like that, take a bunch of historical events and, making a story out of them. One that can make things understandable in an animal perspective. But whenever I try, it just comes out not good. You right? Kind of. It's something Mr. Baker said I should try, since I like the series so much. He's the one who told me about it because of my history of non-Palea class. The medicine of the bison perked me up a little bit. One of the things he's been helping you with, huh? Cool. And you said you're meeting with him every day, or? Well, not every day. It's just when I have something come up with my major program, or, if I need some help in my classes, or just him in general with stuff. Why? Oh, no reason. I was just curious. Since I was gonna meet with him later today, I kind of wanted to get an idea of what I'd be in for. I sleepless laughed, a few moments scratching my jaw. It was my turn to keep my gaze turned away from the orca, sigh and awkward. Didn't want to make it too obvious that I was thinking about Mr. Baker and what the bison might or might not be doing in his office. And thinking about that happened while Owen was meeting with him, while I was meeting with him. When judging by the blood that was starting to take over his face, the orca seemed to have an idea of exactly what was on my mind. Rex, can I ask you something? Sure. Yesterday, when you were peeking into his office, yeah? Were you hoping to see him jacking off again? Sounded potent and pungent. A little bit too much, so not that I was complaining. Masculine musk wafting from between Owen's sifting thighs. That compelled me to drop all pretense. Yeah, I was. I wanted to see if he was doing that again. Since he asked him, though. Good to know. So, you're attracted to him too? He took in a deep breath of his own, and then, yeah, he's really nice and really hot. Oh, yeah, he is. He is pretty nice and really hot. And he does smell kind of strong, but I like it, actually. Owen Blader stared at me. What do you mean about him smelling strong? Now I wasn't one blinking and stare at him. You mean you haven't? All right, Orca. I gave him a sleepy smile. He huffed and sighed. Well, it's really noticeable to me, especially since I kind of have a really good sense of smell. So you like, strong smells? I mean, it kind of depends on the smell, you know? I tried to laugh as I went back to weapon and scratched the scales of my nape. But when it comes to guys, I do like being able to smell them, yeah. The orca looked like he wanted to say something in response to that. His mouth opened and shut a few times while his gaze darted over to me, down to the surface of the water, away to buildings surrounding us. Finally, with a sigh, he pulled his legs out of the water and started brushing them off. Should we go back to class? I put my phone out to check the time it went. We've been out there a lot longer than I anticipated, probably. You want to meet up for lunch and continue talking? The orca perked right back up at that. Sure. Okay, that sounds good. His gaze dropped back down to his feet. I'm gonna need to dry off a bit, so you go ahead. Alright, text me when you get out of your next class so we can meet up. Okay? Later, Rex. With a grunt, I stood and stretched with a warm smile, and a wave I left the orca there by the side of the pool. With a lot more to think about, I made my way back inside to return to my health class. Not even a brief glare from coats when I stepped back into the room, nor the few murmurs and glances from the students I passed on the way back to my desk could bring me down too much. There were only about 15 minutes left of class, so I did what work I could and tried not to think too much about meeting back up with Owen. I sat through the same routine in my calculus class, announcements and then routine. I sat through the same routine in my calculus class, announcements and then review work. By the time we got out, I was all but bouncing in anticipation. When I was heading out the door, I got a text from Owen asking where we should meet up. With no other ideas, and since it seemed like a good midpoint between the math building, the history building, and a dining hall, I suggested the library. Owen was waiting for me on the front steps. The orca perked up as soon as he laid eyes on me, and when he moved down to greet me with a slight smile, he bumped his shoulder against mine the way I had with him earlier. A little harder than he probably intended, but it was a lot better than watching him shift from foot to foot and hunch in on himself. Together, side by side, the two of us made our way to the dining hall. We went down the line and grabbed our lunches and decided to give the fish a try after watching Owen take some. Went into Connor while looking for somewhere to sit. Zeus was at a table by himself, picking away at his own lunch. Since he and Owen had gotten along so well the day before, it just made sense to head over and join him. He looked like he was in a pretty bad mood. Something had happened at work, apparently, and that had set things back while he had to clean up the mess. The stormy expression on the other man's face got Owen retreating back into himself a little bit. But after some gentle coaxing, the three of us settled in to chat while we ate. The orca talked some more about the book series he mentioned, along with a few others that Mr. Baker had recommended. The orca talked some more about the book series he mentioned, along with a few others that Mr. Baker had recommended to him, one of which had been adapted to a series Connor was in the middle of watching. The rooster told us about an event being planned by one of the clubs he was in, and discussed a wild-boar integration at the university. If we were interested, he said, it would be open to everyone on campus. I considered mentioning to Owen that Connor was gay, too, but thought better of it. The rooster had wanted to keep that between us after all. We went our separate ways after finishing up, and the day would continue on from there. Biology and our review work, thankfully, but an overview of lab work we'd be doing the next day. Then jazz band, practicing with our instruments either by ourselves or in smaller groups. Then at long last, classes were over for the day. You didn't need to wait for me, you know? Maybe, but I wanted to. I scratched at the skills on my job than the ones on my name. And I was thinking you and I could hang out a bit more before heading home too. I do need to go after a meeting with Mrs. Baker. I got chores and studying and then dinner. But do you want to text? It might be, it might take me a while to reply in between, but that would be fine with me, sure. Okay? He hummed and nodded, glancing over at me with a smile. It was about then that we reached the top of the stairs leading to the history building's second floor. Just another few paces down the hall to Mr. Baker's office where the bison himself was just emerging, briefcase in hand. He looked over, caught sight of the two of us approaching, and nodded in greeting. Owen, Rex, good afternoon, you two. I do apologize, but something came up and I need to run. If you like to get together, we'll have to do so tomorrow. Oh, I blinked. Well then, so much for that. Is something going on? Oh no, nothing to worry about. Cameron just needs me to pick him up from school. Again, I do apologize, but needs must. Owen sighs and nodded. I blinked again, wondering who Cameron was. Actually, I'm glad you two caught me before I left. There's something that I'd like to speak to the both of you about tomorrow. I meant to tell you individually today when you stopped by, but then Cameron called during lunch, and a gusty sigh heaved out as one of his ears flit. Anyway, yes, if the both of you wouldn't mind stopping by just about 3 years, then I very much appreciate it. What do you want to talk about with us, sir? I think I'll keep that a secret for now. But Rex, if you wouldn't mind staying behind afterwards, there were a few other things I was hoping to talk about with you specifically. Okay? A lift from the bison to the orca back again. I guess we'll see you tomorrow then. Yes, indeed. Until then, have a good day. You too, sir. Mm-hmm. With another nod, the bison moved past us, leaving a trail of his potent scent in his wake. I tried not to be too obvious about breathing it in. I did get a quick glance from Owen, though, pink flaring on the white parts of his face as he watched me drink in the bison's aroma. I guess we should both just head out, too. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to you later. Yeah. Talk to you later, man. Turning on my heel with another wave and small smile, headed back down the hallway towards the stairs, where I heard him following behind me. I glanced back with one brow perked. Right, we did need to head in the same direction, didn't we? Sleepless and awkward, I waited up for him, gave him a small bump on the shoulder with my own. He bumped me back with a small side laugh. We parted ways outside, sailing one more way before he went off to wherever he was going, and I started a long walk back to the lab complex. When I got home, I grabbed an early dinner and then headed straight to my room. Over the next few hours, in between doing some studying and just relaxing from the day, Owen and I texted back and forth. He wasn't kidding when he said it would take him some time in between replies, but I didn't mind. I think I could borrow some of those other books you were talking about. Sure. Do you like kind of more social political stuff or wartime stuff? Because if you're into the latter, I think you really like Valorous Hearts. The one kinda said got adapted. Yeah, but I kinda prefer reading to watch that series. A lot of times they have to cut stuff out and change it around, either because the networks want it that way or just because of their budget. So a lot of stuff gets lost. And you don't get to enjoy the author's writing that way either. I guess that's true. Still might be fun to watch it sometime. Maybe get together with him for it. Maybe. What do you think about Connor anyway? He's okay, I guess. Why? Just curious. I mean, he's one of my best friends. We knew each other since we were kids. And if you and him become friends too, then maybe we could all hang out together. Maybe. You like him? Like, are you attracted to him? Well, that came out of nowhere. Sorry, we were both talking about how you like Mr. Baker, so... Sorry. Yes, it's fine. Kind of. It's complicated. He's great, and I guess I like getting that close with him, but I don't know. Speaking of, is there anything else you're attracted to? It's complicated. Sorry, I don't mean to pry. I'm just curious. It's okay. Can I ask you something? Sure. How do I smell you? What? How do I smell to you? Since I can't smell myself and you like being able to smell guys, I want to know if I smell good to you. Sorry. It's cool. Mind if I be honest? Go ahead. Because you're Marine, you don't really have much of a smell at all except when you get horny. Wait, you can smell that? Yeah, pretty sure everyone can. Everyone who can smell pheromones, I mean. What does it smell like? I mean, what do mine smell like? It's just like a mirror, I guess. Oh, makes sense, I think. I don't want to make things weird, but I really don't mind it. I like how you smell. Good to know. I need to go to bed soon, sorry. I'll see you tomorrow? Yeah, you will. See you tomorrow. Have a good night, Owen. Night, Rex. The story can't stop here. This bill adds day 3 of Owen's route to the game. Rex and Owen hang out at the pool. The two learn a lot more about each other. They also briefly met with Brendan and then texted each other at night. They say got some meat on his bones. So what's the thing of this day? Applause for the king, please. Now do me a favor and rate the game if you haven't. I'm kinda obliged to ask you this since you like it so much. What do you think of Owen? He's got that thick in the middle, you know? But there are other reasons to like him, of course. You made the aquatic mammal quite fond of you. That's a good sign of things to come. I also see you're quite interested in getting the ball rolling between Owen and Brendan. That ball being your body being squished. Join Shelley's Patreon to get early access to new bills and other benefits such as a guide, commentary, to work in progress, or in the higher tiers. Just click on the right button on the left to become a patient. The development of day 4 of Owen's route is hard to describe. It wasn't difficult, but it wasn't easy either. It was just a difficult time for Shelley in general, but actually developing the game wasn't hard. There was a lot of drawings for this day, but otherwise nothing too mind-blowing. It was a fun day, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Shelley considered talking about what was going on in Bangladesh, but he frankly didn't know what to talk about, so much shit is happening and they're still developing as I'm speaking. All I have to say is power to the people. Today's fan art is Sub-Zero. Here it is. Oh hey, it's a reference to that Purse owner fork comment by that Heimday Z person. How adorable. Make sure to let Shelley know on Twitter, Israel, or Discord if you have any fan content related to any of his games, be it fan art, music, or whatever. Speaking of Bangladesh, tell Shelley to get Boa to bloom out of hiatus. It's getting a little lonely. Today's rule of the is number 31. Time is the greatest resource of all. Whatever you do with it is your call. Resource management is incredibly important, and time is a factor to always keep in mind. Remember, you don't have an infinite amount of time, and I'm finished. I'm going to leave things like this. Layers of sexy peoples. Alright. And that message at the end, very long, like usual, but That was especially long. Anyway, that was day 3 for Owen. So I got to know more about him. And I guess it was confirmed that Owen is gay too. So, um, Wentz got kind of bold with Owen about his sexuality, and I thought it was only fair for Owen to do the same at the end while they were texting each other. Wentz got kind of surprised that Owen would do that, but again, you got forward with Owen, so obviously it's going to make Owen think it's okay for him to do the same to you. So, he's a smart kid, and he is very much interested into history. This is the reason why we get to see Mr. Baker a lot. They seem to be pretty close. Like with the history course, and it's very knowledgeable about current events in their world anyway. I'm talking about current events in their world, not in real life Earth, but anyway. He's very knowledgeable about current events in history, and I'm quite knowledgeable about that myself, especially when I was in college. So, we got to see him with Connor more, and it's all right between the two of them. I mean, there's no hostility, but you don't have anything hostile against somebody. It's just that it's kind of a little awkward or a little, when you meet new people, you kind of got to get used to being with this new person. So I understand how both Carter and Owen felt about each other. Alright, so we'll continue with By Your Hands for Owen once day 4 comes out sometime next month. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.